everyone, back here from a pot here. Guys, it's August 2nd and we're finally getting a little break from the heat. So I am out here with the chickens and we are about to do some planting. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago or about a week ago, I went through and I created a brand new bed because all my veggie beds are already full of plants and I want to plant some more. So I created that veggie bed over there and I'm going to be showing today all the different veggies that I'm going to be starting here in the month of August, regardless of how hot it is. And I'm also going to show you some fruit trees that I just planted this weekend. So trees and veggies that are planted in the month of August. Let's get started. Before we start on the bed, let me go real quick and show you the fruit trees that I planted um, this weekend. So this first tree is my Pakistani mulberry tree. And you can see I haven't even put the mulch on yet. Just planted this Pakistani mulberry tree. And this is in my front yard. This is going to get to be a very big tree. So I went ahead and planted it with a lot of space from the other trees. But pretty close to it, about 8 feet away, I have this orange crush jackfruit tree. I just got it this weekend, planted it in the ground. So I'm hoping to get some jackfruit, guys. I love jackfruit. I think jackfruit is the largest fruit that there is in the world, and I absolutely love the taste of jackfruit. I've never tasted an orange crush, but I'm really looking forward to it. And that, of course, is spaced out pretty far from the other fruit trees. The fruit tree orchard in the front is pretty young compared to the backyard where everything is pretty established. Then the final fruit tree that I have is my cocoa plum tree. This one I actually just transplanted. This one I had planted a month ago in the front yard. Cocoa plum is a really cool plum. I don't remember what it tastes like. My sister said that before I was born, they had a cocoa plum tree and that it was delicious. So I'm really looking forward to trying that cocoa plum. Then I have a very small pomegranate tree. Let me show you that one. And here it is. That's a little very small pomegranate tree that I planted right beside the two peach trees that I just bought. And you can see one of my peach trees, the Florida Prince, is trying to bloom. So looking forward to that. All right, so let's get to the veggies. Last weekend I was supposed to actually plant the seeds. So I had started soaking some seeds in a little cup of water for a couple hours. Then I had them in a damp napkin. This was a damp napkin with the top on. And as you can see, in a short time, just in a few days, several of the seeds had sprouted. So this morning when I came out, I saw that they were sprouting. The napkin was still very wet or very damp. Went inside, started working, everything dried out. Anyway, they should be fine. So here I have a few different kinds of seeds. I have some green beans. These are just plain old green beans. Early bush Italian. I just want to have like a lot of green beans. These only require 50 days to harvest. So these will be harvested and out long before I'm ready to plant my fall crops. I also love butter beans. I had grown some butter beans and I'm still harvesting butter beans, but I decided to replant some butter beans. So guys, all these ones that you saw sprouted, these are butter beans that I had stuck in the ground. Stuck in the damp napkin just earlier this week. Well, about 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, and they all sprouted. So I'm gonna plant those. I also have some corn, some little kernels of corn. That is this sweet corn variety. This one requires 85 days. I think this requires the most days, 85 days. So that's going to take me through the end of October. And then I have some okra. These okra require 58 days. So lots of great things. Guys, I love okra. I have been harvesting my okra for the past several days. As a matter of fact, I'm about to post a video. Well, the video will be posted by the time you got it. I just ate a delicious meal of okra and saltfish from these few little plants. So I want a lot more okra so I can get as much okra before the cold weather comes. So I have my okra, my green beans, and then over here, we Jamaicans, we love our thyme. So I've been using my broadleaf thyme for like everything. But then I went to a nursery, Mango Belly Nursery, and they had these beautiful thyme and I love it. So I bought this thyme like 2 weeks ago and I just love the texture. We've been using it. It grows back really nicely. It's nice and green. I went back and these were a little bit on the yellow side because they were in the direct sun, but she gave them to me for a good price. So I took them both. I'm going to trim them up and grow them. So there are different things to think of when you're placing plants in a bed. You're not just gonna, you can, but you don't want to just stick everything in the bed because different plants require different watering needs, and then different plants also have different sun needs. For these times, you want to put them in where there's going to be partial shade because they don't like the direct sun. They can take the heat, but they don't like the direct sun. So I plan on planting some okras along here. Those are going to grow up and shade out these. So by the time the okras die back, these should be established. They should be well rooted and established and be able to fend for themselves. Then as the fall comes around, I'll find another crop to plant here that will give them some shade. As a matter of fact, not ready to plant them out in the ground yet, but I'm going to be starting some tomato seeds pretty soon. Those thornburn tomatoes that I tried for the first time this summer, they were absolutely wonderful. A lot of fruit, and they were very pest resistant. They stood up to the pest, and they really did well into the summer, and the flavor was amazing. So I definitely want to plant some thornburn. I wasn't originally planning on putting tomatoes here, but thornburns were definitely a winner. And I think I can use the thornburn as a higher crop and then plant smaller greens around it. So, but that's coming for the fall. For now, I'm going to plant those 3 times. I also got a cilantro. Guys, I cannot believe this morning when I brought this out here and rested it down, it had green leaves. And look at it now. Look at it, guys. Just a few hours in the sun dried it up. Here, guys, I'm gonna plant this. I'm gonna plant the cilantro, but I might plant it in a bigger pot and maybe put it in between those tiers to give it a little bit of shade. It will get the shade from the tree on that side. The sun actually rises in the east, rises from this side, rises and comes over. So this is gonna pretty much get full sun. But I'll find a way to put pots around it or something to kind of give it a partial shade. Plus, what I probably will do initially is I'm gonna create like a tent over the plants while they're young and they're growing up to give the plants some kind of shade because the sun is no joke. All right, so the chickens did eat a lot of my green beans. I had a lot more green beans in here. I saw them pecking around, see one on the ground, so they were pecking the green beans that were soaking. I guess they were a little bit softer, so they were eating those, but it's not a problem. I do have green beans in here. I do have okra seeds, so I'm gonna plant the ones that I soaked, but I'll also plant additional ones. So here, you're wondering, what am I doing with these 2 mango seeds? So I had 2 mangoes just from the regular Caribbean supermarkets called Thrifties, and the mangoes were delicious. So I thought I'll show you guys real quick how to start mango seeds. So this is the mango seed. When you eat a mango, this is what it looks like. You're gonna cut open the mango seed. You cut the end and then split it open, and then you're gonna get to this embryo that's in the middle. So I had these embryos soaking in water just with the same time I had all those seeds soaking in water. I threw everything in a cup, had them soaking. Then when I took this out, I had it wrapped in the napkin. This morning when I took out the embryos, guys, look at this. It actually had started sprouting. So I'm gonna put these 2 embryos, these 2 mango seeds, and probably put each one in a pot. Okay, so to plant the seeds, you're gonna get the 2 pots of potting soil. I added a little earthworm castings in there. So you want to plant this with the curved side. See that curved side? That's where the roots are going to come from. You want to plant it with the curved side pointing down, right? So you make a little indentation in the soil, and then you plant your seed with the curved side down. You push the soil up around it just to make it snug. Then you water it in. Then I'm going to do the same with the other one. Oh, first, let me put on my humidity dome. So you want to put on a humidity dome to keep that humid environment, which is ideal for it to sprout. Make sure you press the sides all the way down into the soil, you see? Make sure all the sides are pressed down, and then you're going to, after like a few hours, you're going to see the humidity forming. If you don't see the humidity forming, do it again. All right, so here's for the next one. Doing the same thing, planting it curved side down. Then I'm going to add the other half of the bottle. I just took a regular apple juice bottle and cut it in half. You can do this with a Coke bottle, or you can buy humidity domes. I didn't feel like buying anything, so these work just fine. All right, so now that I've done that, put it in a nice, I'm going to find a nice dark spot to put these in. And I think over with my other plants is the perfect spot. I have a lot of cuttings and stuff that I have for my Etsy store. So I think that's going to be the perfect spot. It's underneath a palm tree, so it's always nice and shady over here. So that's where it is, right under my palm tree. So we're good to go. All right, so let's get to planting. So what I'm going to do is corn. Let's do the corn first. So corn is something that requires you to plant the corn in, I think they call it in blocks. So when you're planting corn, you don't just plant one or two corns. You have to plant them. Corns cross-pollinate each other. As the wind blows, they cross-pollinate each other. So it's important to have them in blocks. So like in blocks of at least 4 to 6. So when you're planting corn, you don't go in a straight line. You go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That way, as the wind blows, the corn, they'll pollinate themselves. What happens if a corn isn't properly pollinated? Then the kernels won't be fully formed. You know, sometimes you might eat a corn and some of the kernels are nice and plump, but other kernels are like not formed, not properly formed. It's not properly formed if it's not pollinated. So here it tells us that this can be planted all the way from March to August. It's now August, and they can be spaced 3 feet apart. I'm not spacing these 3 feet apart. I'm just gonna do these. They said 3 feet to 12 inches. I don't know what that means. Anyway, I'm gonna do them maybe 8 inches apart. So let's do that. I have planted corn before. I planted them pretty close and they have been fine. So I am not trying to do 3 feet apart or anything like that. Not sure what that means. So I have one here. I would say this is like 8 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm doing, let's do, this is 4 feet. This bed is 4 feet. I think I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to do 4 because what I'm going to do is put string beans along here. And the whole idea of that is you want the string beans, which are the shorter ones. I want them close to the front. String beans can take full sun. String beans will be also closer to the front. So they're going to be the first to harvest, so I can easily harvest these while I wait for the corn. So I'm putting the corn towards the back. Plus the corns are going to get tall, so they'll be able to, you know, catch the wind. So here, let me show you how I'm going to plant this. So the corn, I'm literally going to take my finger, press it down like a half an inch or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I'm gonna, all right, so we got that row. Gonna go back like 6 inches, about 8 inches, maybe 8 inches, and do another row here. So I'm gonna do 3 rows of corn. So that's gonna give more than enough corn that they can cross-pollinate each other. Some people do 2 corns per hole. That's also fine. That's also fine in case one doesn't come up. You don't have to you don't have a gap. Corn comes up pretty fast, so even if one doesn't come up, I can always go back and plant it. But here, this one I did 2. And that's it. So I have my 2 rows of corn. Let's do one more row, cause guys, we love us some corn. Corn and okra, I love. As a matter of fact, you know what you could do also, which I may do, who knows. What I'm gonna do is, after I plant up my corn and my okra, I'm gonna put the row of the lima beans and the green beans, and then as the corn and the okra start growing up, I'm gonna come back in and plant even more green beans and more lima beans in between, because beans are a great nitrogen fixer. So it gets the soil ready for the fall crops. Because in the fall, I'm gonna be doing a lot of different kinds of greens. There's this new Chinese green that I really want to try, that I've been hearing about, chimichurri, I think it's called. So I'm looking forward to trying that. So really looking forward to trying that. We'll talk more about nitrogen fixers, but while I'm working here, I just want to tell you, with nitrogen fixers, like when you plant different beans, like cowpeas and green beans and different kind of nitrogen fixers, it only works, it doesn't work when you plant it and then you pull out the whole plant. You kind of have to plant it and then let the plants do their thing, and then you can actually, at the end of the season, you can actually do a chop and drop, or you can, if you're going to pull the roots out, you have to make sure that you work them back into the soil so that they kind of decompose into the soil, so that the nitrogen goes back into the soil. All right, so here, after I planted those, I'm just gonna lightly, very lightly cover it, because if it's too heavy, if the mulch is too heavy, guys, the seeds won't be able to come up. But these aren't like any tiny seeds. If it was something like broccoli seeds or like certain greens that are very small, then I would have just worked through the mulch. I wouldn't have put the mulch on top. But then this is hay, this is extremely light, and anything will easily be able to push through. So we have our corn planted, 3 rows of corn of five corns per row, so that's like 15 corns. So that's great. So next we're gonna do our okra, and I'm gonna do the okra down the center. As I said, we already have that bed with okra, but I want a second round of okra before the summer comes. So these okra these are the ones that I had already been soaking. It looks like the seeds, you can see some of the seeds were sprouting. I don't know if the chickens got them all, but I'm gonna plant these seeds. I did see some that had sprouted, but somehow the chickens might have gotten them. So I'm just gonna put these okra seeds. As you guys can see, for everything I'm doing, I am direct sowing. As a matter of fact, those corns, I'm gonna go back in and sow some more corns. I just realized I soaked these and then I planted the ones that I didn't soak. So busy talking. All right, so let's plant the okra, and the okras, we're just gonna plant them straight down this side. So 2 rows of okra right on this side. Corns on that side, okras on this side. So for the okra, I'm just scratching out the surface of the soil a little bit here. I don't want to plant these deep. Scratching the surface of the soil. Then I'm just gonna sprinkle some okra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lightly cover the okra. Lightly cover the okra. So guys, if I don't know if you guys missed the video, if you guys missed the video that I did when I created this bed, you know that I've already fertilized the bed. I put in earthworm castings. I put in some bone meal, which helps with the root development and flowering, so that we can the plants can quickly develop roots and that they will have some good strong blossoms. So all that was already done prior to me doing this video. That was done like a week and a half ago. So now I'm just planting these okra, and I'm gonna also plant some that, let me go on that side. And this, guys, this is why on the video I said it's good to build your bed so you can easily stretch it from either side. It's too hard for me to stretch it from that side, but I can just come to this side and easily stretch in without straining my back. So I'm moving this mulch aside, just lightly dropping a couple seeds, covering them up, dropping a couple seeds, covering it up. Very, very easy. Okay. Then I'm just going to take the mulch, lightly cover it, drop a couple more seeds here. And I'm going to go back and, after I finish dropping all these seeds, I'm going to go back and label where I put these seeds so I can remember. Put some more of these okra. Then we're going to plant our beans. Alright, so I'm just going to lightly drop some okra along here and cover this back up. And guys, when these spring up, I can always thin them out. It might look like I'm doing it a little bit thick, but I can always thin these out. But I think I dropped maybe 15 okra seeds in all. So I'm really looking forward to getting some yummy okra. Love okra, guys. It's such a healthy food. All right, now we have this whole front section. We're gonna put some string beans, and I think I have some space also to put string beans along here. I'm gonna wait until the okras and the corns come up, and then we can add some more string beans. But let me put this in for now. So you can see these are already sprouted. Let's just make a little tunnel. Just put these down. These are mainly butter beans or lima beans. None of the store-bought ones sprung yet. But I guess that's because these were like fresh. I just harvested them and put them in the ground. So these are super fresh. Oops. Yeah, as I said, guys, Jamaicans, we love our butter beans or oxtail with butter beans or kidney or lima beans. So I'm really looking forward to having this. And then here I just have, these are just some, whenever I have the green onions, I stick some, I keep the green onions, stick them in some water. So I'm just going to stick some green onions along here. This is actually a good time of the year to plant bunching onions, at least in Central Florida. I've never planted bunching onions. I'm going to see if I can find some onions, because we do eat a lot of onions. All right, I haven't planted any of the green beans. Let's plant some of these green beans. Some of them are a bit sticky. Where am I going to plant these? Okay, this part looks undisturbed. Put some green beans on here. Some of these are getting a little bit mushy. I think they probably soaked for too long. So I'm going to wait a few days. If the green beans don't come up, I'm going to get some different ones. As I said, I meant to soak it. Let me tell you how to soak your beans. So for these beans, green beans, corn, you can soak them for a few hours, and that's usually good enough. For these green beans, they end up soaking for several hours. I mean, probably close to a day. Then I took them out and I put them in a napkin, because I'm planning on planting them that day, but it's been several days. So they probably were in there a little bit longer than they should have been. So I'm gonna watch these for a few days, or what I might just do is just take some fresh green beans and plant them. That way I don't have to wait a week and be disappointed. As I said, if everything comes up, that's fine. You can't have too much food. I will just thin them out or just let them all grow together, since it's going to be a quick crop. And with green beans, most of these beans, you can plant them close together. They'll bush up together, and I'll still get food. Yeah, so that's it for this. Gonna go ahead and water this in now, and then we'll watch and wait. And in a few days, oh, we forgot our time. I'll go ahead and put the time in the ground. So for the time, I think I'm only gonna put like a couple in the ground, and then I'm gonna keep one in a pot, because I want to make sure that the sun isn't too hot. Even though, you know what, I'm gonna put them all in the ground, because what I'm gonna do is use a sunshade for it, and have to get these protected as soon as possible, because those chickens, for some reason, they love to come over here. I guess they're digging looking for worms. They like to come over here. But that's it, guys. What I also plan on planting, which I didn't mention, I got some Jamaican sweet potatoes growing, and I had the slips in some water, and the roots got so long, guys. But I planned on transfer planting this bed, and just using it just for Jamaican sweet potatoes. But again, I got my slips. The roots were long, and this was a week ago that I dropped the slips here, meaning to come back, and I didn't get to, so these are dried up, but it's okay. I have a huge pot of Jamaican sweet potato that I haven't harvested yet, and a ton of slips. So what I'll do is, for sweet potato, rooting it is best. Once you root it, it's gonna do well as soon as you plant it. But for sweet potatoes slips, you can literally just stick them in the water for 3 days and plant them, or if you plant them straight in the ground, it will take a little bit longer, but they will come up. So I have to decide how I'm gonna do this. I still have some strawberries in this bed. I probably transplant the strawberries into some of those tiered planters. They didn't do very well here, or I shouldn't say that. They did well, but something kept eating them. I only got a few strawberries. I would see the the green strawberries on there, and then they'll be gone. So something kept eating them. So what I'll do is, I'm going to transplant these to the tiered planters there. I'm going to transplant this marigold, which is still looking good. Maybe I'll even transplant it into that bed. But this bed is going to be just Jamaican sweet potatoes right beside my bed, which is just Murasaki sweet potatoes and yam. And guys, my goodness, look at this yam vine, how thick it is. And look, there are already yam seeds on there. Look at that. Those are yam seeds. With these African yams, you can actually just take the yam seed that's on the vine and plant it, and you'll grow a yam. So anyway, guys, that is it for now. I am gonna end this video. Look, sweet potatoes are blooming. That means their potatoes getting ready. And my blue butterfly peas, guys, oh my gosh, look at it. Look at it. I'm getting these flowers every day and saving them. Growing your food is a wonderful thing. Guys, do it. Grow your food, guys. You will never, ever, ever regret it. Longevity spinach. Anyway, guys, till next time. You will see as my plants grow. I will be sure to give you updates on this new bed, and also you'll see when I'm ready to transform it from a summer bed into a fall bed. Till next time, guys. Bye now.